Hi, everyone. This is Pam Torrey from Ingage, and you're listening to the Ingaged podcast. We know tech is changing the way people market and sell now more than ever. And on this show, I sit down with sales and marketing thought leaders and experts to learn how you can create, share, and measure your way to success. Today, I am so excited to be sitting down with Jennifer Lau-Hatcher, one of the co-founders and the chief marketing officer of 1&Fund, the home improvement industry's preferred financing tool. Thanks so much for joining us today, Jen. It is a pleasure to see you here. Very unusual that neither one of us has a cat wandering around with us.
I agree. Thanks, Pam. I'm happy to be here and cat-free for today.
Yeah, for those of you who have never met either one of us on a webinar or been on a call with us, one of us usually has a cat roaming around, and we bonded over that almost immediately when we met. So
yes.
I'm very excited to have you here and talking about your true expertise, not being a cat lady, but rather being an expert in financing in the home improvement industry. So I want to jump in, and Jen, could you start off by giving our listeners an overview of what 1&Fund is and how you're revolutionizing the home improvement industry? You all have a really interesting business model, and I think that more people need to know about it.
Well, thank you for that. And I agree. So I'll start with that. One of the ways that the way that we are most revolutionary is we are a company founded by home improvement experts for home improvement experts. Doesn't sound like rocket science, but there are many, many entities out there that were created to sell something to the home improvement industry for their benefit. Everything that we do comes from solving the pain points of the contractor. And so that's the revolutionary part of what we do. So we really are a sales enablement tool on the front end and back end of your business, focused heavily in curated financing programs with multi-lenders. We do have a proprietary and patent pending platform, say that 5 times fast, that is going to be released just a little bit later this fall. And so that, again, solves for a lot of problems. But we also solve for challenges like exclusive leads, because leads are light and leads are tough right now. We have fractional CFO services, collections. We kind of, again, try to solve those pain points. And our promise to our dealers is that we are going to help you get more wins, and we are going to help you grow the value of your business, which is huge.
I mean, at the end of the day, I think that's what most of our listeners are looking to do, is grow the value of their business and keep on that uphill trajectory that we've been on as an industry for the last few years.
Absolutely. And this year has been a really big shift, right? We could have a whole session on that. So I won't dive into that, but yes.
So we're in this tech-driven world, and marketing strategies are constantly evolving. The way I think especially we're connecting with our customers has been really changing a lot, because people are busy in ways that I don't think they were prior to pandemic life and all of that jazz. So what innovative marketing approaches have you been implementing at 1&Fund so that you can stand out in this market and really connect with your customers?
Yes, I love this question. So I'll try to keep my hands like not jazz hands because it's really exciting. So we are in a tech-driven world, and we serve contractors across the entire United States. And so technology is a critical and foundational piece of how we run our business every day. But one of the things that we have shifted and is innovative in our marketing ways is we're really working on bringing back that people interaction, because this is a relationship business. And so, for example, with the fall show season and learning event season that we're coming up on, we are completely redesigning the interaction and the experience that one will have when they visit our table. So instead of just having some flyers sitting on a table, which works fantastically for some people, we really want to get into a conversation with you. And if you don't want to converse with us, that's fine too, because we have a lot of ways that you can see and literally feel some of the challenges that you're solving for and we're helping you solve for every day. So I don't want to give too much away, but there's a ton of really fun elements. We have some exclusive prizes and event type things that anybody is eligible for. And there is a very, very, I'm coming in close, exciting announcement that we're going to give at these shows for those who are in attendance.
Very exciting. Yeah, we go to a lot of the same events that you do. I've seen you at one of those events. And yeah,
sat in the same room.
We have that. Yeah. And our team's on the ground at almost all of them. And I do think it's so important in no matter what context you're in to give your customers a chance to get into your product. So like we do that at events too, where we have all sorts of presentations up for people to be able to interact with. But like in this tech driven world, like we really try to make sure people can access the content from no matter where they are. So it's like, how can you get your product into their hands to get a taste of it?
Yep. You're giving me a total layup on something I'm going to say. So somewhere you're giving me a layup on something I'm dying to share.
Wonderful. Well, I'm hoping that we get there. So, we all want to connect with our customers, and something that I talk about all the time, I talk about it on this podcast, I talk about it in our webinars and all of our content, is that people really want to feel like you're speaking directly to them. They want that personalized experience. It's something like 80% of people desperately want to have a personalized brand experience when they're talking to a company. So you have a really unique way of helping your customers to be able to drive personalized experiences. So can you talk about how 1&Fund leverages technology to create that experience for your customers?
Yes. So I mentioned the proprietary platform that's patent pending. I'm going to set that aside for a second.
All the P's.
All the P's. Because it's amazing and it is foundational to our business, and that is super personalized on the front end and the back end, again, for that contractor and for that interaction. But the layup that you gave me that I have to call out is we actually really love leveraging Ingage to connect with our audience, because we are able to put training materials on there and even like an investment sheet that contractors can use and interact with, and it's digital. They, like you said, they can take it anywhere with them. And so much like our platform can be accessed via any device, Ingage is one of those tools that really takes it next level for our partners. And when we're doing trainings or talking about it, it's really easy for them to see the value of it. So I have to give Ingage a shout out because it does make a really big difference.
Yeah, we appreciate that shout out. I think too, when you're talking about how do you position financing, how do you position these options? Like one thing we've found in a lot of our market research we've been doing is that people are talking to homeowners who've never done this before. A lot of homeowners who are considering remodel or who have no choice but to consider remodel because something broke. They've never done this before. And I think the financing conversation's really changed in that respect. So having these personalizable tools, your proprietary patent pending platform and your educational materials, that really does help when you're having these conversations with someone who has different questions than a homeowner who's maybe done this before or who always pays in cash.
Right. I 100% agree with you. And again, the format of this or where it is founded is the person who's designing it has proven it with thousands of salespeople across the U.S. who has sat at that kitchen table having those same appointments and same hesitations and fears. And, there's a national sales manager I'm shamelessly stealing this from, and he's fantastic, so he'll let me. But he once said, if the objection isn't money, it's money. So financing is kind of that F word we love to hate kind of thing. So how do we make that an easy conversation where people don't feel pressured, but they know that they have options? Mm-hmm. And that's so critical because we can give them every color combination in the world, but if they don't know how they're going to pay for it, they're still not buying your project. Mm-hmm. So we do a lot of sales training on having that conversation and how to have that conversation in your own sales process.
So what I don't think a lot of people know about you is that you've had actually a very interesting career that has brought you to this point. You've done a lot of really cool things. And at this point, you're a co-founder, you're a CMO, you've had a lot of great experiences. You must have encountered really valuable insights during this career. Could you share with our listeners a pivotal marketing or sales lesson that you've learned that's had a lasting impact on how you approach your business and how you've shaped 1&Fund success? Because you guys kind of came out guns blazing and like you became somebody. We were like, we've never heard of them. We have to work with them. So that's kind of how that happened. I'm curious, like, what lesson could you share with us that led to that success?
Yes. Is it okay if I keep it brief but share a couple?
That's great. Go for it.
So there's three that are immediately top of mind. One is really short and it's directly related to roles and delivering and breaking through barriers and all that. I'm going to save that one for last. But the first thing that pops in my mind is there's an incredible mentor I had when I was with a large corporation building out an entire platform or part of their lending organization. And the mentor, who's now a friend, shared with me, they're like, everything you do, you have to remember the 3 Ps of marketing, the 3 Ps of marketing. And I kind of had these big deer in the headlight look like, well, I know what I think are the 3 Ps. What are your 3 Ps? Because I don't want to sound like an idiot right now. But he's an amazingly gracious man. And he's like, okay, my 3 Ps are people, processes, and product. You know this product inside out. You're building the process for the entire team to follow, and you're doing an amazing job. And, he thankfully helped build me up because I was having a moment where I was feeling really worn down. But he said the most important P, Jen, is the people. You have to keep it focused on the people. So if you don't start people first, your processes, as tight and as awesome as they are, aren't going to matter. And your product and the value that it brings isn't going to be told because you didn't take care of those people first. So that people part of it, and at that time I had a team throughout the United States, so I didn't get to see them very often. That was really important for me to be like, oh yeah, I need to bring the people along the journey with me so we can do this together versus me handing them up a buttoned up package and say, go do. So that was really pivotal for me. Another pivotal piece of advice from an absolute marketing genius that I'm very grateful to call a mentor was really simple. And he said, when everybody's zigging, zag. Like, whatever they're doing, do the opposite. And again, it was one of those moments where I was really struggling of how do we differentiate from the rest of the market? How do we, and it was simple, but it went deep in my soul, and have definitely taken that with me in how we approach things. And then the last one, again, work related, but also personally related, was I am worthy. That first mentor I had mentioned to you also shared this with me. And he said, you work so hard, you do all these things. You need to believe that you are worthy of the success that you have and what comes next. And that was huge for me. So for years, I had a Post-it note stuck on my laptop that said, I am worthy. And every time I opened up my laptop, I looked at that.
I love that. Love that. As you were talking, the second point you said, when everybody's zigging, you zag. That reminded me of a lot of the advice that's out there right now for our mutual customers, which is people are pulling back off their marketing spend because they're nervous about things. Don't invest more. People are pulling back off their sales training because they're worried about spending money. Don't invest more. Like that, really the best advice is to do the thing that everybody else seems to be scared to do.
Yes. And obviously I'm super passionate about those two topics in particular, but marketing and training are always the first things to get cut from the budget. And it never makes sense to me. So again, we could have a whole conversation on that, but
We definitely could.
We definitely could. That's a critical one. So don't cut your budget on those. Those are critical.
So we have recently announced our close partnership with 1&Fund as our recommended financial partner. If you go to our partners page on our website, 1&Fund is our featured financial partner. Can you share a little bit more about how we collaborate to support customers? I know you talked a little bit about the content that we have, but like, what is our shared approach on supporting customers throughout their sales process?
Yeah, absolutely. Let me back up just a fraction of a second. We are so honored and excited to be your recommended financing partner. So thank you very much for that. It's a responsibility we do not take lightly in any way, shape, or form. And we're obviously looking forward to a really long lasting relationship with that.
We are too.
Yay. So when I had alluded to this in a previous in a previous answer about the training material that is on there and the content that can be shared and uploaded directly into one's own sales presentation. That's probably the most blatant way that I've seen those light bulb moments and the excitement coming from our partners, where they're like, I can just drop this in my presentation, I can use it, and they're like giddy, because financing is one of those topics that can feel really scary. A lot of people feel like they need to be financing experts or they need to be a bank, and you don't. Not at all. You need to know where to get you need to know how to use your tools. Engage. You need to know how to use, let's see if I can do it again, our proprietary patent pending platform. Use your tools. You need to know how to use your tools and get your questions answered from the resources around you. You don't have to be the expert. So tangent there for 1 second, but I love those light bulb moments. I also love the moments where we have our training content on Ingage, and Justin, who is just amazing and a subject matter expert for us, is doing a training, and the dealer on the training is like, hey, what's that software you're using? That looks pretty cool. And he's like, oh, hey, it's Ingage. We use this at this company and these people use it and it's made a really big difference for them. So it's really exciting to be able to help them discover something they may not have interacted with before, to streamline their whole sales process. And like I said, get more wins at the kitchen table.
More wins, yeah. And from our perspective, I think we've discussed this before in another webinar that we did. Everybody should go check out that webinar. It was great. But we talk about sales enablement so much as a company. People think about us as a presentation platform, but really we're a way to distribute content to whoever needs to get that content and then measure its results on the back end. So I love that your new proprietary patent pending platform is all about sales enablement. And it's about enabling. At the end of the day, I think we just want our customers and their sales reps to have every tool they need to close a deal at their fingertips when they're in a home.
Amen.
Yeah. So at the end of the day, that's what sales enablement is all about. And that's what we're trying to do. So it just makes sense that we work together.
It does.
So before we wrap up, I do want to ask you the question that I finish every interview with, which is, what is a trend that you think sales leaders or business owners need to be focused on right at this moment in time?
Oh,
I like to just end on a big note. I like to end with a bang.
That is a fantastic question, and one that you probably get a variety of answers on. Mine is going to be real simple. Go back to basics. If you have not streamlined your processes, if you don't have a sales process that your whole team is following the same sales process, get a sales process, because we are in a time and place where affordability is a really, really big trend out there, right? And homeowners still want and need these projects in their home. But if you have let's say a newer designer coming in, it's okay that they don't have the answers, but if they're not following any sort of process and they're just winging it, closing percentage is going to be gross, and because beginner's luck wears off, and you're not going to have those happy customers that are telling their 4 neighbors about how much they love their new shower. And you're not going to have, it's this huge domino effect. So my answer is brief. Go back to basics, check your processes. If they're not good, fix them. If they're good, refine them and make them better. If they don't exist, talk to somebody, call us.
Go get some.
Anybody who can help. Back to basics. Get those processes tight.
Yeah, I think this is a really great time to do that because it's like the market's kind of resetting itself when it comes to the home improvement sales landscape. Like everybody's sort of like, oh, the money's not just rolling in. Like we have to work for it.
Right.
And, our sales reps are not just going to go out there and close because we're the only ones who have product.
Right.
So, yeah, I think this is a really, really wonderful time to just get in there and think about your business. And as we head into the slower production months, as we head into the months, at least in most of the country, I know where we're both located, it gets very cold during the end of fall and winter, and nobody wants to be installing a roof if they can help it when it's snowing on them. So this is the time to start thinking about getting back to those basics, putting some of those processes into place, really streamlining your business.
Yes. That's my takeaway.
Well, Jennifer, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm always glad to have you on one of our channels. For those of you who are interested in learning more about 1&Fund and want to hear more from Jennifer, we do have a really great webinar with Jennifer and Justin from 1&Fund. It's on our YouTube channel, so please go check that out. But Jennifer, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me. Always grateful to be here.
Thanks for listening to the Ingaged podcast. Be sure to visit ingage.io for more information on how to create, share, and measure your way to success. If you like the Ingaged podcast, we'd love for you to subscribe, rate, and review us on Spotify or Amazon Music. Until next time.